Once again, Tony Geoffrey Owana welcomes you to Owanapedia, the one-stop center for our history in Uganda. But I have always told you, we don't ignore the rest of the world. Our concentration may be here, but the rest of the world is never left out of the picture. What do we have today? Fred Gisa Rwigema. Now, even for those of you who do not like Rwandese, whenever the name RO015 Fred Gisa Rwigema is mentioned, all of us remember that whatever differences there might be between Uganda and Rwanda now, or whatever private opinions President Yoweri Museveni and President Paul Kagame may have about each other, the brotherhood of these two countries will outlive all of us. And none tells that story better than the life and times of Fred Gisa Rwigema, to which I now invite you. Fred Rwigema was 19 in 1976 when he joined Yoweri Museveni's Front for National Salvation in the campaign that eventually ousted President Idi Amin Dada. Rwigema was 22 in 1977 when he became ADC to the future President Yoweri Museveni. He had just been thanked for his role in the anti-Amin Liberation War by being kicked out of the army for having been born elsewhere. While the war against Amin was continuing, no one questioned his citizenship until the fighting ended, and then questions were raised. Rwigema was 24 when the Liberation War kicked off with the raid on Kabamba on 6 February 1981. He was 29 in 1986 when, as Deputy Army Commander of the NRA, he also took oath outside Parliament as an MP of a liberated Uganda. And Fred Gisa Rwigema was 33 on 2nd October 1990 when he fell on day 2 of the Rwanda Patriotic Army's exodus back to Rwanda. You've been asking Owanapedia for the Rwigema who talks to you. And believe you me, it has not been a very easy task. We've tried until we came across some footage with which we are going to share with you. And that's why we take you back to 1985, towards the end of that year, during the Battle of Katonga, when the National Resistance Army, of which Fred Rwigema was a senior commander, had cut off South and Western Uganda from the rest of Uganda at Katonga. This way, General Tito Okello was in power. That way, Yoweri Museveni and the company were in power. Of course, it was not another country, but there was a very, very serious blockade at Katonga. And during that period, Fred Rwigema visited the bridge. We came across footage of that period in which we see Fred Rwigema addressing NRA troops in Masaka. And the footage was captured by a German newsreel company, and our technician, Herbert Semiano, has managed to tweak those voices to bring out something that gives you Fred Rwigema. You'll also be able to see him taking the oath outside Parliament, and you'll also be able to meet him meeting the Roman Catholic nuns in Masaka during that period. Owanapedia remains the one-stop center for your history. Take a look.
Check kidogo. Wakasema kwamba hapana, kwamba hili jambo sio na wale ambao wanaendelea na mazungumzo vile vile wanafahamu jambo hili, lakini vile vile sio mzuri kuacha askari wetu bila kujua kitu gani.
In September 1985, when NRM had created another government in the south and west of Uganda, The border between the two warring states of Uganda was at Katonga Bridge on Masaka Road. From Mzee Yoweri Museveni's own account in sowing the mustard seed, this crucial sector of the war was commanded by Ahmed Kashilingi and Stephen Kashaka of the redoubtable 5th Battalion of the NRA. Now we see Commander Fred Rwigema coming to inspect the forward lines of the danger zone. His lead vehicle is a Land Rover V8 which had just been liberated from the government forces of the Ugandan National Liberation Army. And let me warn you right away that the ill-dressed armed men and women you are seeing are the mighty NRA. The lead V8 is followed by another liberated Mercedes-Benz in which I believe the sector commanders are traveling. And the next liberated Mercedes-Benz arrives, followed by another liberated V8 Land Rover. Out of the second Mercedes emerges Fred Rwigema, Mobile Brigade Commander Salim Saleh, and 7th Battalion Commander Matayo Chaligonza. Commander Rwigema jumps into a foxhole to test its depth and gets a briefing from frontline commanders of 5th Battalion. The bandaged right hand is evidence of an injury on which Rwigema does not spend much time as he continues the inspection. The NRA fighters may seem relaxed, but they are on military standby alert class 1 because the enemy is actually very near and can shell this position and even kill this top commander. Despite all that, the senior commanders begin an inspection of the bridge itself, striding fearlessly along as they compare tactical notes. Rwigema is unmistakable with his bandaged right arm.
This is Katonga Bridge.
As at that time and even today, there is nothing at Katonga Bridge to show that the battles fought here were not only decisive in the liberation of Uganda, but also costly in terms of human life and limb. Wanapedia will, however, play its part in preserving the little that is left for posterity.
Ndio Katonga kabisa.
Daraja.
The inspection of Katonga Bridge could have been for the purposes of blowing it up should the need arise, but Wanapedia invites you to listen very carefully to the enhanced bits and pieces of the conversation so that you can draw appropriate conclusions.
nani? Alisema sort hapo. Warambua hapo wakamkuta.
Rwigema was mainly a man of action rather than of words. Witness this one-sided conversation with these massacre-based Roman Catholic missionaries who were narrating to him their ordeal when government soldiers of the UNLA paid them a visit. Fred Rwigema clearly prefers to listen than to speak.
We were going on Friday, and then some of us decided to stay, we could stay down. And then we saw them all come down. It was too late for us. But they were all right with it. But they had all their covers all over, all around, down by the parish especially. They came up here. Sister Mary. Sister Mary.
Sister Mary is at first shocked when Rwigema extends his left hand in greeting instead of the right, until she is informed that the right arm suffered injuries, which again Rwigema does not dwell on or explain. Clearly, these servants of God had not seen a well-behaved soldier in many years until NRA arrived at their convent.
They broke into the college, the houses, and they looted all the houses round about. They made themselves comfortable in their covers with mattresses
That is Fred Gisa Rwigema, courtesy of Owanapedia, the one-stop center for the history of Uganda and the rest of the world, which we never neglect. Now, I assure you, once you fail to subscribe to Owanapedia, you end up having a great future behind you. Tony Geoffrey Owana and my young friend Herbert Semiano signing off for now.
I, Fred Rwigema Gisa, swear that I will bear faithful and bear the true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. So help me God.